The big story of the day. Dennis Berman of the Wall Street Journal will take on today's big controversy, which is Axl Rose, former lead singer of Guns N' Roses, although he might be still the lead singer of Guns N' Roses.
There's something left.
Whatever
Trailing
it's called
vaudeville
today.
act.
But Axl Rose today released a bitter, an angry letter. What would you call that letter? Saying, strange letter, basically saying,
yeah,
you know what?
confused was the word that came to mind.
Even though Guns N' Roses is supposed to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I don't know if it's sometime tonight or soon, he came out and said, you know what? I don't want to be any part of this. You can induct Guns N' Roses, but don't put my name on it. I mean, basically said that.
That's right.
And here we go. This is what he said. Do you want to read that, Dennis?
I feel like I'm at a Seder.
Yeah,
so let sleeping dogs lie, or lying dogs sleep, or whatever. Time to move on. People get divorced. Life doesn't owe you your own personal happy ending.
That is kind of a sentiment that you can
It's
probably
an artist.
agree with.
You know, his artist reflected in his music, and now is reflected in his refusal letter.
But still, by him making a kind of a big deal about this, he's not really letting sleeping dogs lie, is he?
No, he's making it about himself.
Right.
And so he's a creation of 25 years of sort of who he was and how he was perceived publicly.
Now
so we should count how many times he uses the word I.
Yeah, there's a lot of I's, and me in my camp, he uses that a lot. Let's talk a little bit about Guns N' Roses. You, growing up, Dennis Berman, you were a huge Guns N' Roses fan.
I was a fan.
Yeah,
great
huge fan.
I mean, great music. It was raw.
The soundtrack of your childhood.
A soundtrack of my childhood. Certainly the rock and roll soundtrack.
Right.
I think for people of my age, the Generation X era, why do people care about Axl Rose? It's sort of a non-event, right? But people care about it because they care about the music, and they cared about the band once a long time ago.
And yet this band has been kind of dissolved. It's been reconfigured in a very different form.
Right.
But he had a falling out with, I think, most of the other guys in the band, correct?
I don't know. I don't think there's anyone left. When he names the other bandmates of the remaining Guns N' Roses, and maybe I don't think there's really anyone.
Slash, who was the lead guitarist, was viewed as kind of the #2 guy in the band, rightly or wrongly. And then there was the
rhythm guitarist, Izzy Stradlin. Then you had Duff McKagan on bass. Yeah. Then you had the drummer Steven Nether, who had his own drug problems. But you know, what's sort of the sad thing about this letter, right, is Guns N' Roses. I mean, they obviously came up in LA in the mid '80s, but in terms of real popularity, they were probably their peak, right, artistically, was a very short period of time, probably from '87 to '92.
Late '80s.
'87 to '92, and to think, right, that the band has gone through so many iterations, that Axl Rose is still up there. They have not aged gracefully in the least, okay?
Well,
so Rolling Stones, you got to give them your respect. The Beatles,
Bono,
they had an incredible...
U2, they've aged beautifully, right?
Beatles had an incredible 10-plus year run of the best collection of music ever recorded in modern times. But the Guns N' Roses catalog is surprisingly thin. And so when I see people get upset about Axl, I mean, why should you care?
Well, do you think? Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame probably does care, right? They have to at least give a patina of respectability to the whole affair. I mean, right? I mean,
I suppose so.
I mean, if you're the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where I have not been out in Cleveland, okay, and you go to the exhibit on the artist, I'm sure there is somewhere a Hall of Fame or the exhibit, and let's say you go to the exhibit, what are they going to do? You know, you see the Who, and they put the band members under it, or Talking Heads, they put the band members under it. You get to Guns N' Roses, and what? They X out Axl Rose's name. They don't put his name in there. What do you do?
Axl Rose does not need the Hall of Fame to
confer
his legacy.
I'm talking to you about what does the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame do?
I say who cares?
You say who cares?
I say who
somebody
cares?
at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has to organize the exhibit.
Yes, but that's a commercial problem for them. I think the better question is this. Okay, Evan. Like, how does one deal with one's past? Perhaps a very bad past. When can the person sort of get over it, accept it for what it was, and maybe even enjoy some of the fruits of that now spoiled relationship? Like, is there room for that, or is there not?
Are you willing to talk to Axl about this? Maybe we can have Axl call Dennis and have a word or two.
No, but I'm asking you, Evan.
Making peace with his legacy.
I'm asking you, right? does it ever make sense for someone 20 years past, right, to say, I don't want anything to do with these guys?
Well, apparently it makes sense to Axl Rose, and he's the only one who really matters right now. I mean, I'm a kind of live, let bygones be bygones kind of guy.
Right.
I mean, that's just my temperament.
And so it seems pretty petty after 20 years, right?
It would seem that way to me, but then again, you know, it's kind
and there have been some great moments in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame history where bandmates who really were estranged came together for a night or two. I'm not sure Led Zeppelin was the same way, but I think they did with Jason Bonham on drums.
Simon and Garfunkel?
Did they come together? Yeah. So that to me is kind of the cool part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is where you see this rapprochement of formerly estranged bandmates.
So you're begging, you're urging that sweet child of yours,
I don't think we care,
Axl Rose,
really,
to please make peace with himself.
It would have been a nice moment.